the moment Gachagua was sworn in, he was given a certain he's the way he started just talking and started spewing, saying things. You remember the word was that this guy Ruto is doing to this guy what Uhuru did to Ruto, giving him rope to hang himself. And I think Gachagua is just a means to get to the end, because there was that fear that if it was Kindiki, who's not Kikuyu, will Kikuyus vote for him, or will Kikuyus go vote for, be more attracted to Uhuru and Martha combination? So for me, I feel that that is what Rigathi was. And now that he is there, the guy has bought all the other politicians. He has them either by money or he has them by other means, but all of them are singing his tune. Okay. So it was just a matter of him consolidating the power, then him consolidating power working with ODM by the virtue of how this impeachment started out. This impeachment is one of the most funniest impeachments I've ever seen, because it started on social media. People like Sudi tweeting and saying, in 14 days, you're going to see, we're impeaching you. And it was one that was very loud, and nobody was hiding what was coming. Gachagua knew what was coming. It was put on social media. It went to parliament. It was passed in parliament. And for the first time, we saw a full parliament. Only Babu was not there. And the other Sikh, no, Babu didn't, yeah, Babu was not there, and the other Sikh politician, the one who they ban in supermarkets all the time, was not there. We saw a full parliament. For the first time, that house was full.
Kind of like Kenya is never short of any drama.
Kuna Puki Manjaro.
Kabisa. Now, we know it's been another week of political pandemonium in Kenya, as Parliament overwhelmingly approved a motion to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Now, with over 80% of parliamentarians approving the motion, the question on whether Parliament has been captured by the executive comes back to focus. You will recall that a little over 3 months ago, after the Gen Z uprising, opposition leader Raila Odinga joined forces with President William Ruto in a new broad-based coalition. Now, this new partnership has offered government a supermajority in both houses, as Kenyans wait to know the fate of the deputy president in next week's Senate trial. Now, DP Gachagua is mounting a strong fight in court with a legal team led by veteran lawyer Paul Mwite. And tonight, we'll be diving deep on the issue of the removal of DP Gachagua from office. What political ramifications might this lead to going forward?
I'll take it back to 2022. I'll take it back to 2022 during the elections. And how we saw the election petition was handled and how that case was thrown out. And there was a precedent that was set. That was a judiciary that was hell-bent on revenge for Uhuru Kenyatta denying them the money that they wanted. And this guy promised them money. He gave them their money. But another thing, and he reinstated judges that Uhuru had refused to reinstate. And with that, he put himself in favor with the judiciary. Now, we've seen that everything that has gone to court against this government has never failed. They will fail on the lower courts, get to the Court of Appeal, and they will get the result reversed for them. We've also seen that the valiant abuse of the court process by government officials, which have gone scot-free. We had a deputy of the police, the second in command of the police, defying court orders, was sentenced to jail, went to court, was defended by the Chief Justice, and got a slap on the wrist and was let go. So by the virtue of how this impeachment started out, this impeachment is one of the most funniest impeachments I've ever seen, because it started on social media. People like Sudi tweeting and saying, in 14 days, you're going to see, we're impeaching you. And it was one that was very loud, and nobody was hiding what was coming. Gachagua knew what was coming. It was put on social media. It went to parliament. It was passed in parliament. And for the first time, we saw a full parliament. Only Babu was not there. And the other Sikh, no, Babu didn't, yeah, Babu was not there, and the other Sikh politician, the one who they ban in supermarkets all the time, was not there. We saw a full parliament. For the first time, that house was full. And guess what? Majority of that house voted to impeach this guy, which shows that this is something that was designed and orchestrated that he must go. He's not going to fare any better in Senate. He's going to have his day in court in Senate. I don't see him beating Senate, especially that Senate whereby we usually have some very serious discussion, but then government policy sails through. So I don't see how this one is failing. We're going to have some very serious discussions, some very serious oppositions. We'll be happy by some politicians thinking that those senators are fighting, but when it comes to voting, they will vote the impeachment, and guess what? He'll get his day in front of the Chief Justice. And I believe this will be the shortest appeal we'll ever see in the history of Kenya.
Okay. Some very solid deliberations, very direct from none other than Mika Och. Before we get on to the legal strategy, which I want Uno Mike to talk about a bit, because lawyer Paul Mwite is mounting a very strong legal defense. What do you think are going to be the political ramifications? Like, how will the impeachment trial affect the landscape? Let's say it happens next week and DP Gachagua gets removed from office. What are the power dynamics after that? What do you think will shift? DJ Moshfire.
So, based upon history, or at least the way things have been working, we've always had at least Mtu wa Mlima Kenya in power.
Okay.
For either the first or the second. There's always Mtu wa Mlima Kenya.
There was a mini break during the end of Moi's regime when he gave the vice presidency to Musalia Mudavadi.
Okay.
There was a mini break.
Okay, if we want to count that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say...
But basically, the president and vice president, for the most part of the 60-something years...
We've always had somebody...
There's always been someone from Lima.
There's always been somebody from Lima.
Yeah.
And in this case, there's a possibility that we may not have somebody from Lima.
Okay, and what makes you say that?
And just based upon how the dynamics of things have been happening, where there was that active campaign by the current deputy president to start bringing Mlima Kenya back. He kept singing this Mlima song, almost like he had been told, boss, I'm about to axe you. I'm removing you from being, sitting in here. In fact, you're no longer sleeping in the bed. We are done. And I'm not giving you papers. This thing is getting annulled. Which is basically what's happening. So he started doing his PR stance, or to working his PR thing. But that didn't sell. It didn't work. In the court of public opinion, it may look like that it was working, but the people who are making the decisions, aka the politicians, it's definitely not working.
Now, there was a clip that was going around of former Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho, who's now the Minister for Mining.
Correct.
In an old campaign clip where he talked about this exactly, that President Ruto was planning to get into power with Gachagua and then impeach him. This was something that was verbalized in a political rally. Do you think it's just a lucky coincidence, or is there something that people in the political class know that most of us don't?
These guys, the interesting part about it is when they fight, we on the outside look on and we look at things and we say, okay, there's no way. These guys don't like each other, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's politics.
Okay, so it's like a sport.
Correct.
Yeah, it's like boxing. We go box,
yes,
and then after that,
we can even go sit down and drink tea together.
Okay.
As long as you guys, our shabiks, don't see us, then we are good. And because that's gonna mess up for our round 2.
Okay.
Or should I say Onyuro too? That's it's gonna mess it up for us. So these guys, a guy like Joho has been a student of the one and only Baba, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And at some point, Ruto was also a student of Baba,
Yeah.
and walking along with Baba, even though he was in the school of MO1,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you sit down and you look at all of these things, and based upon the politics and politics of Kenya and how things happen, Joho saw it coming. He's like, this is just a means, it's a means to an end. He knows where he wants to go. Once he gets to his cannon, then he's going to drop this guy. And that's exactly what he did.
Wow.
And right now he's silent. The worst part of all of this is we are sitting here, we're speculating, and we're talking about the impeachment, blah, blah, blah. This guy has not talked.
Silent. Nil by mouth.
Worse than a cricket.
Yeah.
And it is so sad to think, the worst part about it now for me is the next person coming in. Do you even have a shot? You don't have a shot at anything. And if you do something that is going to be counterproductive, then you know exactly which way you're going to go.
So this is a loud message to
Correct.
anyone who's going to come and sit on that seat
And
next.
not only for this presidency, but for other presidencies coming up. Because guess what? I have this card that I can use, and I'm using it.
So he's giving a playbook.
Correct. And yet it was never used on him.
Interesting.
It was not used on him, and it's not that you
Can you say it was not used on him because Uhuru didn't have the number? So that is why Uhuru read very quick to do that handshake, to prevent actually this move being pulled on him.
I mean, Mika, I would say that, but at some point there's numbers. There's also, what is it that's giving you the numbers? Is it an envelope that's coming with the numbers, or is it the numbers based upon membership / affiliation? So some of these numbers are artificial numbers, and the artificiality of it is based upon the heaviness of the envelope.
Wow.
Which is true. I don't argue that. But isn't that what everybody in that August house is in there for? Self-entitled, self-enrichment.
Yeah,
so it makes it even easier for them to lobby numbers if they want such things to happen. And I think one of the reasons why, you said that, I think if we go back to where Joho said this clip, it clearly shows that. Even, I remember we were discussing it in the groups, and we were discussing who Ruto is going to, when Baba picked Martha, we started discussing who we were going to see. And all of us were on Kindiki. Everybody was on Kindiki. And then when it came to Gachagua, the rumors came to the choice between Gachagua and Kindiki. Everybody was still saying it's going to be Kindiki. And so when it was Gachagua, the first impression was that this guy has bought this ticket, right? And even if you say that this guy has bought this ticket, the moment Gachagua was sworn in, he was given a certain, the way he started just talking and started spewing, saying things. You remember the word was that this guy, Ruto, is doing to this guy what Uhuru did to Ruto, giving him rope to hang himself. And I think Gachagua is just a means to get to the end, because there was that fear that if it was Kindiki, who's not Kikuyu, will Kikuyus vote for him, or will Kikuyus be more attracted to Uhuru and Martha combination? So for me, I feel that is what Rigathi was. And now that he is there, the guy has bought all the other politicians. He has them either by money or he has them by other means, but all of them are singing his tune. Okay. So it was just a matter of him consolidating the power, then him consolidating power working with ODM. And he's put himself in a place whereby, and that was a warning to anybody, whoever tries anything, to understand that I run this town.
Okay.
I'm the sheriff.
Sawa sawa.